The lights inside the AGT theater dim slightly, not enough to plunge the room into darkness, but just enough to quiet the restless energy of the crowd. The familiar hum of anticipation settles over the audience like a held breath. Thousands of people shift in their seats, eyes fixed on the massive stage where dreams are tested in a matter of minutes. The judges sit comfortably behind their desk, exchanging casual smiles, unaware that the next few moments will linger with them long after the night ends. From the side of the stage, a small figure waits. He is noticeably younger than many of the contestants before him, thin, almost fragile, dressed in clothes that are clean but clearly worn with time. His shoes are scuffed at the edges, his shirt slightly loose on his narrow frame. He clutches his hands together tightly, as if afraid they might shake too much if he lets go. A production assistant crouches beside him, whispering encouragement, but the boy only nods, his eyes wide and glistening under the bright stage lights spilling toward him. When his name is called, he hesitates for a fraction of a second. Then he steps forward. The spotlight follows him as he walks onto the stage, each step careful, measured. The audience offers polite applause at first, the kind reserved for newcomers whose stories are still unknown. As he reaches the center mark, the applause fades into a gentle hush. Up close, his nervousness is unmistakable. His shoulders are slightly hunched, and his breathing is visible in the rise and fall of his chest. The host smiles warmly and kneels slightly to meet him at eye level. "What's your name?" the host asks. His voice, when he answers, is soft but clear, carrying a faint accent that hints at where he comes from. He introduces himself, then adds quietly, "I'm from the Philippines." A ripple of interest passes through the audience. One of the judges leans forward. "How old are you?" another judge asks. The boy answers, barely louder than before. A few audience members murmur in surprise. He looks younger than his age, as though life has asked more of him than it should have so early on. The host gently asks why he decided to audition. The boy pauses. His eyes drop to the stage floor, tracing invisible lines as he searches for words. When he finally looks up again, his gaze drifts briefly toward the audience, then to the judges, and then somewhere far beyond the theater walls, as if his memories are playing on a screen only he can see. "The family is very poor," he begins. The word poor lands heavily in the quiet room. He explains how he grew up in a small home, how some days there wasn't enough food, how his parents worked long hours just to survive. He talks about nights when the electricity would go out, and the only light came from candles and the moon. His hands twist together as he speaks, but his voice remains steady, strengthened by honesty rather than confidence. "I sing," he continues, "because when I sing, I forget that I'm hungry. I forget that I'm scared." The audience shifts again, this time not from impatience but from emotion. A woman in the front rows presses her hand to her mouth. Somewhere else, a man nods slowly, his eyes already damp. One of the judges asks who inspired him. Without hesitation, the boy answers, "My parents. And my siblings." He swallows hard. "They believe in me, even when we have nothing." There is a long pause. Another judge asks, gently, "What would it mean for you to do well here?" The boy's composure falters for the first time. His lower lip trembles, and he blinks rapidly, fighting back tears. When he speaks, his voice cracks, but he doesn't stop. "It would mean I can help my family," he says. "I want to give them a better life. I don't want my parents to suffer anymore." The words are simple, unpolished, but they hit with the force of truth. The audience is silent now, not a cough, not a whisper. Even the judges, seasoned by years of hearing emotional stories, are visibly affected. One judge leans back, exhaling slowly, while another presses their fingers together, eyes locked on the boy. The host places a comforting hand on the boy's shoulder. "You're very brave," the host says softly. The boy nods, though his eyes shine. He wipes his cheek quickly, embarrassed by the tear that escaped. He straightens his posture slightly, as if reminding himself why he is here. The stage suddenly feels enormous around him, yet his presence fills it in a way that surprises everyone watching. A judge breaks the silence. "Are you nervous?" The boy lets out a small, shy smile. "Yes," he admits. "Very nervous." The audience chuckles gently, not in mockery, but in shared humanity. "But," he adds, "I am also happy. Because this is my dream." Those words draw a wave of applause, stronger now, warmer. It isn't thunderous yet, but it carries encouragement, wrapping around the boy like a blanket. He bows his head slightly in gratitude, his hands clasped again, this time not from fear, but from hope. The host steps back, giving him space. "Well," the host says, "whenever you're ready, the stage is yours." The boy closes his eyes. For a moment, nothing happens. No music, no movement, just a young boy standing alone under a spotlight, carrying the weight of his family's dreams, his country's pride, and his own fragile hope. He takes a deep breath, one that seems to come from deep within his chest, and opens his eyes. As he prepares to begin, the audience senses it instinctively. This is not just another audition. This is the start of something unforgettable. The first note comes quietly. So quietly, in fact, that some in the audience almost miss it. It floats out into the vast theater like a fragile thread, thin but deliberate, as if testing whether the air itself will hold it. The boy stands perfectly still at center stage, shoulders squared now, feet planted firmly on the floor. His hands, once tightly clenched, hang relaxed at his sides. His eyes are closed, not out of fear, but focus, like he has stepped away from the bright lights of the AGT stage and returned to somewhere familiar and safe. The music swells gently behind him, a soft piano introduction that mirrors the tenderness of his opening line. His voice, though youthful, carries an unexpected depth. There is a rawness to it, something untrained yet incredibly honest. It does not strive to impress, it simply exists, carrying emotion the way a story carries truth. Within seconds, the room changes. The low hum of the theater fades completely. The audience leans forward as one, instinctively drawn in. Even the judges, who moments earlier sat relaxed in their chairs, straighten unconsciously. One judge's eyebrows lift, surprise flickering across their face. Another tilts their head slightly, as if listening more closely, afraid to miss even a breath. As the boy continues, his voice grows steadier, stronger. Each lyric feels personal, as though it were written from his own life. There is pain in his tone, but also resilience. It is the sound of someone who has known hardship and chosen hope anyway. The camera cuts briefly to the audience. A young woman presses her fingers beneath her eyes, already emotional. An older man shakes his head slowly, lips parted in disbelief. Somewhere in the crowd, a quiet sob escapes, quickly muffled by a hand. Back on stage, the boy opens his eyes. They shine under the lights, not with fear, but determination. As he reaches the first chorus, his voice lifts, filling the theater in a way that feels impossible for someone so small. The note rings out clear and powerful, echoing off the walls, climbing into the upper balconies. The audience gasps, not loudly, but collectively, caught off guard by the sudden strength. One of the judges instinctively places a hand over their heart. Another leans toward the desk, whispering something to the judge beside them, though the words are lost beneath the music. The boy doesn't notice. Or if he does, he doesn't let it distract him. He sings like this moment is his only chance to be heard. Like every lyric is a promise, to his parents, his siblings, his younger self. His face reflects the emotion in the song, brows furrowed slightly, jaw set with effort, eyes glistening but unbroken. When his voice cracks for just a fraction of a second, it doesn't weaken the performance. Instead, it makes it more real. The piano fades, and a gentle swell of strings joins in. The song builds. As the melody climbs higher, so does the intensity. The boy's chest rises with deeper breaths now, his body working hard to support the notes pouring out of him. He lifts one hand slightly, almost unconsciously, as if reaching towards something just beyond the lights. His voice trembles, not from fear, but emotion, yet it never loses control. The audience is fully silent now. No rustling, no whispers. Even the cameras seem to move more slowly, carefully, as though trying not to disturb the fragile magic unfolding. A judge's eyes brim with tears, and they make no attempt to hide it. Another judge presses their lips together tightly, nodding along with the rhythm, visibly impressed. Then comes the bridge. The music drops back, leaving his voice exposed. For a moment, it is just him and the microphone. He sings softer again, almost like a confession. The words fall gently, each one landing with weight. This is where the pain lives, the hunger, the fear, the nights of uncertainty. And yet, woven through it all is something brighter. Hope, faith, the belief that life can be more than what he has known. A tear slips down his cheek. He doesn't wipe it away. He keeps singing. The audience feels it collectively, like a shared heartbeat. Several people openly cry now, shoulders shaking. The vulnerability of the moment strips away any sense of spectacle. This is no longer a competition. It is a human being offering his truth, unfiltered and brave. The music begins to rise again. The final chorus approaches. The boy takes a deep breath, his deepest yet, and when he releases it, the sound that comes out is astonishing. His voice soars, rich and full, filling every corner of the theater. The note is sustained, powerful, unwavering. It is the kind of note that demands attention, that silences doubt. The judges' reactions are immediate. One sits back, eyes wide, shaking their head in disbelief. Another mouths a single word, "Wow." A third leans forward, elbows on the desk, utterly transfixed. The audience begins to stir, unable to contain themselves. Some clasp their hands together tightly. Others rise slightly from their seats without realizing it. The energy in the room builds, swelling alongside the music. As the song reaches its climax, the boy lifts his chin, standing taller than before. His fear is gone now, replaced by confidence born from purpose. This is his moment, and he owns it fully. Every note carries strength. Every word rings true. And then, the final note. He holds it. The theater seems to hold its breath with him. When he finally releases it, the music fades to silence. For half a second, there is nothing. No applause. No cheers. Just stunned quiet. Then the eruption comes. The audience leaps to their feet almost instantly, the applause crashing like thunder. Cheers echo through the theater, loud and unrestrained. People shout his name, clap above their heads. Whistle, cry. The sound is overwhelming, a wave of appreciation that crashes over the small figure standing at center stage. The boy blinks, stunned. His hands shake slightly now, not from fear, but disbelief. He looks out at the audience, eyes wide, mouth parted, as if trying to understand what is happening. Tears spill freely down his cheeks as the realization hits him. They heard him. They felt him. The judges stand as well, clapping hard. One judge wipes their eyes openly. Another nods firmly, applause unbroken. Their expressions say everything: astonishment, admiration, deep respect. The boy bows his head, overwhelmed. He brings one hand to his mouth, trying to steady his breathing. His shoulders rise and fall as he fights back sobs. The stage lights glimmer off the tears on his face, but he doesn't try to hide them. There is no shame here. Only gratitude. As the applause continues, louder and louder, one thing becomes clear to everyone in the room. This was not just a performance. It was a moment.